Hey guys, how do we keep dirty off-road? Today we're doing some testing with the 37. Lots and lots of rubbing. So if you guys saw our last video, it's not moving, huh?
No!
We're gonna need a bigger hammer.
Fuck, this is hard. That's what she said.
We did some trimming for the 37s to get the truck ready for some off-roading, and we told you that that was just the start of our journey, and there was a reason for that, because we wanted to actually show you guys what it actually takes to get this done. And the trimming you saw us do is just the first step. There's so much more that has to happen in order to run the 37s correctly. In this video, we're going to take the truck through the same spots that we took it through the geyser review. If you guys remember that video, all the tucks, the little jumps, and all that stuff, we're going to take the trucks to there, and then we're going to show you all the rubbing. And I think a lot of you guys are going to be surprised by how much rubbing this still is, even with all the trimming. And that's because if you've ever had a Raptor long enough, you know, even the 35s will rub eventually on the wheel well. 37s don't have a chance, even with the trimming we did. And that's what we really want to show you in this video. Let's get to it.
Now before we start talking the actual run, let's talk tires. Did have an option to run either the KM3s or the Terra Grappler G2s. And the KM3s are obviously taller, but the Terra Grapplers are 13.5, so they're definitely much wider, and it does make a difference in the amount of rubbing we're going to get. Now the actual part that matters is the actual centerpiece of the wheel, the actual contact patch. On the KM3s, it was about 9.5. On the Terra Grappler G2s, it was closer to 10.5.
So there's the extra. What's the stock one?
And the stock wheels was the surprising part. It was like actually wider than the KM3s. It was about 9.75, closer to 10 inches.
So there is definitely a difference.
So, this one's the tallest, but this one's the widest.
Well, yeah, because that's a 13.5. That's only a 12.5.
Which kind of performs better, though.
That's for another video. We'll end up doing some long-term reviews on both of these tires, but for now, we want to take you guys out to the actual run. We went to Johnson Valley, one of our favorite areas, because it has the most diverse trails that we can use for this type of test. We can do dips, we can do small jumps, we can do washboards, whoops, you name it. There's a variety of trails in a very small area, and it's perfect for suspension testing. The theme of this video basically is rubbing. There's a lot of rubbing still, even with all the trimming we've done so far.
Yes, that's a lot of rubbing.
Now for this trip, we had a couple guys with us. This right here is Walter in his very stock Gen 2 Raptor. I think it's a 2017. And even the 2017 on a very small jump, and I really want to emphasize this, this is a very small jump. And you can see his tire tucking in quite a bit all the way in to the fender well. So this had me a little bit worried when we saw it going into 37s. We also had Sean with us. Sean has a 2017, 2018 Raptor with 37s running the factory series race shocks. Now he took this one a little easier than the rest of us, but you can still see it's quite a bit of tuck. I don't know if he got to all the way in, but it looked very close. Okay, now it was my turn. I was going about 55, 60 miles an hour because my speedometer was a little off. And let's take a look at this clip. Let's go ahead and stop it right before we actually do the jump. Let's zoom in a little bit. You can see the wheel tucked in all the way. And if you look closely, you can actually see the dirt being rubbed off the wheel because it's rubbing on the fender. This was extremely tight, and it actually made a lot of noise in the cab. Next, we decided to go down the trail a little bit and test the tuck-in again on a surprise dip. You guys saw us do this on our iBox Geysers comparison video, and it's one of those perfect little dips that really tests the suspension. Just like last time, we decided to Walter to go in first with a stock Gen 2. Again, we're going about 55 miles an hour. He tucked in all the way, used every last bit of suspension. You can see him rebound all the way back up, but with the stock suspension, he was able to stay on trail the whole time. There was no tires being lifted up. Next up was Sean with his Factory Race Series, and it was quite a bit different. Factory Race Series with 37s, full tuck on this dip, and you can see him rebound substantially. And to the point that one of the wheels actually got off the ground. The whole front end got off the ground. Now was my turn, and yeah, it did not sound good. You could see the wheel tucked in all the way in. We're 13.5, so we're much bigger. Lots of rebound in the back. And here's a much closer look. You can really see how deep into the wheel well the tire gets, and it's pretty crazy to see up close in slow motion. before I get into the actual rubbing and show you guys what was going on there, I think it's important to talk about some of the drawbacks that we've noticed after living with the 37s for a couple of weeks. The first one is the steering. The steering has a definite heavy feel to it now going into it, despite the modes that they're in there, and we're getting a whole lot more feedback too, which is not good considering some of the steering problems we've been having in the past where, you know, the steering wheel shakes uncontrollably. The second one is power. The truck definitely feels sluggish. It's not as peppy, it's not as quick as it used to be. So we're gonna have to look at a couple options. I'm not big on tuning this engine. I think the EcoBoost engine's already really great, but I'm finding that I'm sitting in the lower gears more often. On the freeway, I find myself going down to 8th gear a little bit more often when I used to be in 9th. And on the trails, I find myself being in the much lower gears, like 3rd or 4th gear, a little too often now. So I'm not really liking that, so we're going to have to look at a couple options to re-gear the truck, maybe see if that'll improve it. I'm not too familiar with gearing, so we'll see how that goes.
Alright, so we already took a couple jumps. Check it out. Definitely seeing some major rubbing in here. I mean, look at that. This right here. So remember, we told you guys that this is an extra cutting we need to do. So this is something that when we get back, we're gonna trim that down to about the halfway point of that bolt and follow that probably like down to there. And cut it. But yeah, look at that. This is the passenger side. Lots and lots of rubbing. On the front. Let's check the other side out. A lot of the same on this side, not as bad here. Look at that, quite a bit. And same here with the fender right there, quite a bit. Tires look okay. I mean, they are showing a little bit of signs of us fucking around, but tires aren't so bad. Overall, she's still pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but she's doing pretty good for what it is. We do have to take a little bit easy, so we have been, but not too bad. Lots of rubbing, all right? Lots of rubbing.
Alright guys, so that's it for this video. We definitely got some work cut out for us, so stay tuned for the next video. We're going to start doing some more trimming on the actual trim. We're going to look at options to move the wheel well liners all the way up, at least about another inch to make some of that extra space. And it may mean doing some trimming on the actual fenders themselves, which that's kind of a little scary. So be on the lookout for that. Part 3 of our running on 37's video, we'll cover some additional trimming and hopefully get the truck to be off-road ready with stock fenders. Depending on how that goes too, we're also going to do some more test videos down the road to see how she does. Get a little bit more crazy with the obstacles that we're doing. May even do a big jump down the road too once we do the next level of trimming to see if we're going to need to do any more trimming or if we're going to have to go up to fenders. I have a feeling we are going to have to go up to fenders at some point with the off-roading we do because I really don't like the idea of slowing down too much. I do like the idea of slowing down for like hills and obstacles and stuff like that, but just slowing down in general I'm not a fan of. Alright guys, let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Hopefully this video helps dispel some of the myths that you hear out there where everybody just tells you all you got to do is some minor trimming and you can run 37s. It's not true, especially if you off-road. And in this video we've covered some of the most common small scenarios, most common obstacles that you're going to hit with the truck. And our speeds were low here. We kept it around 55. With these Raptors you can run much harder. I regularly average around 65. I've even done some trails as high as 90 and definitely caused some damage. So guys, stay tuned for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and we'll see you guys on the next one.